So you have been in East Palestine.
Yep.
For those that don't know, I mean, you should know by now, this was a major incident that happened. A train derailed.
Yes.
That was filled with toxic chemicals. The decision was made by this, and what's the
was it Norfolk Southern?
Norfolk Southern.
Norfolk Southern. They decided to burn these chemicals, and it's been causing a lot of environmental issues in East Palestine. Really, I mean, I feel like, because we're our north, right, or our east, and we share the Ohio River. We have to determine whether or not, or how. I mean, it's not even a whether or not it's affecting us, but how. But talk about what's happening on the ground in East Palestine. What is the community saying? And is Norfolk Southern doing anything to remedy this situation that they caused?
Yeah. So just for folks who don't know, on February 3rd, 2023, a Norfolk Southern train that was leaving from Texas and heading to somewhere, actually, they haven't said actually where. We still haven't gotten the manifest yet of where it was going. But along the way, Norfolk Southern has had a lot of train derailments. I mean, literally, they're averaging almost 2 a day.
Oh, wow.
Train
That's
derailments.
madness.
It's crazy.
Yeah, 2 train derailments a day. And in that, the thing here is that it was on fire for about 30 miles. The train was on fire about 30 miles before it actually then came and derailed in East Palestine.
So it was just driving on the tracks on fire.
It was, literally. It was, and it's on. Because people had like
hell on wheels.
Well, yeah, but people got like ring cameras, so they got.
That is nuts.
You can see on people's ring cameras, it's like on train fire going on the track.
Wow.
People was catching. But this is the thing. So when it does get to East Palestine, it does derail, and then it's a decision what is to implode and make the train explode. The reason for that is because it's carrying something called vinyl chloride and other toxins as well, but that's the main one. And so in carrying vinyl chloride, for those who know, is something that they use to make plastics, but it's also a petrochemical made out of oil and gas. So it's highly flammable. If it gets into the ground, it can move around the ground very easily, go into your water supply. I mentioned the Ohio River.
Right.
And so in that, they had to explode that. It literally creates the largest environmental disaster that we have ever known in this country.
Wow.
And the thing here is that the people who are living there, not just the people in East Palestine, but in your community, you're literally at risk, because the thing here with vinyl chloride is that it can create cancer-causing problems.
Right.
I'll give you an example. There was a lady who was there who said that she was evacuated and with her cat, she came back with her cat. Her cat had like a golf ball type lump on its belly, and then about a week later, the cat had like a softball sized lump. When I went there, at town hall with Aaron Brockovich, in that town hall,
yes,
the cat died. They've had over 50,000 animals, including just literally hundreds of fish that have risen, that have died in this community.
All a result of
what's happening with the train
madness.
Wow. So the thing here is that within a month, if things are just dying, in a month, then we got to make sure and speak up. So
I saw pictures of like deer dying
fish
by the side because they're going to drink this water.
Right. Yeah. So the question for us, and so this is where we come in at Hip Hop Caucus. Hip Hop Caucus made a decision, so you kind of hit it. We made a decision. We were working on democracy a lot when we first got started, and also other issues regarding criminal justice. We knew, and this is for me being from Louisiana, having gone through Hurricane Katrina, and seeing what happened to my family and friends. We knew that it was critical for us to speak up. And to be honest, what we saw with the climate movement, that it was predominantly a white movement. It was predominantly like a Birkenstock kind of Ben and Jerry's type movement. And so we got involved, and it was important for us to get involved because we felt that when we saw, this is no shade to black people who are in the environmental movement, they're doing amazing work. But what we saw was that the black people who were in the environmental movement were still working their ways through white supremacy, talking about how to do environmentalism. And so they're, in the words of Tony K. Bombard, their imagination had been colonized. And so they had been in a position where they wasn't thinking about this like, we are the ones who are first and worst impacted. And so we got involved back then. We've been involved in this work for literally now going on literally now 18 years since Hurricane Katrina. And so with that, we wanted to be here as well because people said, well, East Palestine, mostly white people. And we were like, nah, because we got to show up because we know that if we don't show up, they may actually be okay or not okay. But we also know there are black communities around
absolutely
who won't be okay.
Right. And
so we got to be there. And if people say, well, you making it bad for Democrats or Republicans because, at this time, President Biden hasn't showed up. That ain't my concern.
True.
Right? I'm not we have to be for our people. It's not about being for this group or that group. We have to be for our people first.
Right.
Our only concern is for the safety and the welfare and liberation of our community. And that's why we got to stand up. So we're there in those communities, but we're having ironically, we're there having conversations with folks who are black and white and brown and yellow, white, young, old, theist, atheist, straight, gay. We're having conversations with everybody because when you show up in that regard, people want to be together. And so that's where we are now in East Palestine and throughout. And most importantly, the petrochemical issue, which is happening there, which is key, happens in my community in Louisiana, Kansas Valley, and throughout Houston, Texas. And there's a want to build out the expansion. So not only are they hauling petrochemicals throughout and I want to say this to y'all. When I came here, y'all, I actually saw a train, Norfolk Southern, that was carrying, that's the same kind of canisters, going through here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so I got to tell y'all, I was sitting there thinking, that could have been y'all.
Could have been us.
Right, yeah.
It's not like for facts. And I would have been like, I don't really know the people before. I know the people now in East Palestine, but I know y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I had watching the news and seen that little Hiroshima cloud,
yeah,
I would think my family out there is breathing in. And so this is why this is our issue.
Yeah.
Right? And why it can happen and why we got to speak up. So we are speaking up because, one, what they were hauling was petrochemicals. That's got to stop. We want to stop the expansion of petrochemicals, period. They want to build another 120 facilities across the country. They want to build some here, again, right here in Pennsylvania and throughout the Ohio River Valley. And so we're fighting to stop that. And we're going to do what we can do.